Hey Banff, my name is Omar M Khateeb, and this is my first video. I'm a Silicon Valley based growth marketer. Tell you a little bit about myself. I wanted to do a quick review of this book, but really to show you the formula behind me, which has to do with behavior modification. And the good thing about going through this is that also we're going to go through this. See, I'm like a really shitty magician at the same time. But anyway, all seriousness. So now that I got your attention, this is in fact my first video. Quick tidbit about me, and more importantly, this badass framework I'm about to show you. I was a former medical student, left medical school, became a marketer. The last few years, I built my career on disruptive high-tech technology, specifically in surgical robotics. I was with two surgical robotics companies from the time that they were private through their IPOs, so I know what it's like to deal with both private and public companies. Somewhere in between there, I was really inspired by growth marketers, and I felt that I had to sort of prove my worth as a marketer. So I launched a fashion inventions company on Kickstarter called PS Mister. Did incredibly well. Very happy to say that it's still going strong today. And now I'm the director of growth marketing and branding for a Silicon Valley-based company called Potrero Medical. Potrero Medical is a predictive health company that's developing the next generation of smart sensors for the intensive care unit. Specifically around urine output, core body temperature, and intra-abdominal pressure. And we're building an artificial intelligence platform on that. Now, let's get to this. So behavior modification is something that a lot of people talk about. People talk about psychology. More often than not, they know jack shit about it. So I'm gonna teach you a little bit about that today. And this is a great framework. You should sit down not only with your sales messaging and your marketing messaging, but really your business unit and strategy, and figure out like how this formula goes into work for you. And then you can start isolating variables to understand like, oh, this is the area, this is why we haven't been able to sell. So when it comes to behavior modification, you have two main variables: motivation and ease. Okay? Motivation is broken up into two things, and we're going to use the analogy of getting customers for a gym. Let's say it's the next wave of CrossFit or something, whatever. On the motivation side, motivation is broken up into two variables: individual incentives and social norms. So with individual incentives, okay, the idea is the individual incentivized? Okay, so let's say that with this gym, you're targeting people who work in an area where there's a lot of other good-looking people who are in great shape. So their individual incentive is that they want to be in great shape as well. Now, the other part of that is social norms. This is the piece that a lot of people forget about. For growth marketers, you can also call this social proof. And social proof, of course, you can get it from this great book by Robert Cialdini. If you haven't read this book, you need to go buy this book and memorize the 6 principles of influence. We'll talk about that on another video. So with social norms, you could have the individual incentive, but if the social norms are not there, aka other people don't do this, or even worse, people do not support this kind of behavior, you're in a lot of trouble. So let's just say that at this gym, the individual incentive is there. I want to get in great shape, but part of this gym is like, picking up puppies and like juggling them. That's the social norms can be very low on that, because people are going to be very angry about that kind of thing. So your motivation is going to be lower. Okay. Now, this is an internal factor. This is subjectively motivated. So this you have to start understanding the deeper rooted desires and fears when it comes to your customer persona. Now, with ease, if this is subjective, ease is objective. So that's dealing mainly with the environment around. And ease is going to be broken up into two areas: opportunity and ability. So going back to the gym analogy, when it comes to opportunity, do you actually have the resources available or the environment that supports it to get this behavior change to happen? So in terms of this gym that we're trying to sell people on, is the gym on the way from work? Is it affordable? Right? Those are the kind of things that increase or decrease opportunity. And the other part is ease, is ability. So let's just say it's a gym that's not, juggling puppies, but let's say it's juggling weights. Well, the ability is going to be really low on that, because not everybody knows how to juggle. So the idea that you're going to get people to go to this gym to juggle weights is going to be lower, because not everybody has that skill. So ability is based on skill. So those two factors, that's the formula when it comes to behavior change. And I'm going to quickly walk you through these 4 areas when it comes to motivation and ease. So again, motivation, individual incentive, social norm. Ease is opportunity plus ability, okay? Now, if you have, let's just say, getting away from the gym, let's say I'm trying to get you to eat a bar of chocolate or a candy bar. If you have high motivation and high ease, so let's say I'm hungry, so my motivation is going to be high, and the chocolate bar is right in front of me, highly likely that that behavior is going to happen. What about high motivation and low ease? I'm hungry, but the chocolate bar is like down the street, and between me and the chocolate bar are other chocolate bars or other candy stores. Well, it still might happen, but that's again high motivation, low ease. What if you have low motivation and high ease? So I'm not hungry, but the chocolate bar is right there in front of me. That's where a lot of marketing comes into play, and that you start dealing with desires. You don't really need it, but you want it, right? That can still happen. But if I'm not hungry and the chocolate bar is down the street, it's not going to happen. And I can't tell you how many times, especially in the world of healthcare, I see stuff like this where it's low motivation and low ease. You know, doctors don't want to use a specific piece of technology, and then it's really hard to buy because it's expensive and you have to go through all kind of processes. You know, you're fucked in that kind of situation. So when it comes to behavior modification, especially when you deal with selling to businesses that are B2B in highly regulated areas such as agriculture, healthcare, education, transportation, when you start breaking it up like this, these are the kind of things that get you in front of the board and you're able to show a process that makes sense, versus what I see a lot of times, you know, what I often see with growth marketers is that it's a lot of like, we're going to do this and this piece of psychology here, and it's kind of sprinkling like bits of shit everywhere that mean nothing, right? You want to be a tactician. You want to approach this so you show that, number one, you can think like a scientist, but then you can actually execute like a business person. Now, for growth marketers, especially people in BAM, the execution part is there. The part that I would say what you should add to your, you know, sort of arsenal is being able to understand these kind of frameworks and processes. Now, I hope this has been really helpful. I'm looking forward to making more videos in the future, and please drop a comment below. Feel free to ask a question, and most importantly, don't let this knowledge just turn into learning. You know, turn it into action. So take action. I'll see you next time, and have a great week. That was pretty fucking good.